I goofed. I made a big bed. I threw a bunch of cards. It was a great reading. And I looked up and I hadn't started the camera. And it's such a good reading. I'm going to keep it on the board and just move you through the story. First card out was Knight of Swords. It came out with Page of Cups. And I think what happened was somebody, like went off half-cocked and said something, because this was coming through to me as angry. Listen here, you don't understand. I know what's going on. The quote I had to start out with was, and now I can't find it. It was basically the idea of, yesterday I thought I was in a crisis, and then I realized I wasn't. And I really overreacted. And I didn't get mad at somebody else, but I got mad at myself because I thought I'd made a big mistake. In this scenario, I think somebody did get mad and said something without thinking. It's sword energy, so it should be smart and considered. But here I see it as angry. And then there's the apology. I flew off the handle. I didn't mean it. I'm sorry. Next card out, Ten of Cups. We're good. It's all good. We love each other. It's a happy connections all around. King of Cups. This is this Cups person, Page of Cups person, Ten of Cups person, and the one who said something, I think that this person thought they were in a crisis. They felt like it was chaotic and a crisis. So they shouted instructions at somebody. So King of Cups is uncomfortable. I think they're embarrassed, because they say, I'm sorry. I misspoke. I misunderstood. And King of Cups is the guy who he, she, or they, who feels something and isn't entirely comfortable with what they're feeling. Because they're embarrassed. I'm sorry I flew off the handle or I was rude. And this is another card like Ten of Cups in water energy, a kind of, we're good, it's all better. I'm back in balance. I'm sorry, I know that I'm surrounded by people who love me and people who I love. And this was inappropriate, and I'm embarrassed. A card of victory and forward movement and balance. In the realm of emotion. King of Cups, Page of Cups. And I think that King of Cups made, it gave some gesture that made it, made up for what he said, he, she, they. He kind of course corrected. These are the next two out. It was Ace of Wands, Page of Wands. A new direction, a new path. And pages can be immature. And I think that this was an immature, somebody flew off the handle and they're embarrassed about it, Page of Cups. So they're redirecting. In Cups energy, the Chariot is going in a new direction. They're emotionally balanced now. I don't know what happened, but they basically freaked out and they didn't have to. On King of Cups, we have the World card. That's a major arcana card of Capricorn. And of a rite of passage. Some big change in this person's life that threw them off balance for a little while, that, they misunderstood something. They might have been jealous. And then they say, I'm sorry. I was off. How can I make it right? Let's start over. Ace of Wands, Page of Wands. Take another pass or something like that. And on Knight of Swords, Eight of Swords. And that's where I realized the camera was off. So there may be something about that. Like this person may have forgotten to do something, or maybe the King of Cups felt like somebody else made a mistake and they got pissed about it. They were going through something major. They were distracted by some big change in their life. And they were up in their head and couldn't see it clearly, They misunderstood. They felt trapped by something and they got angry. This way. So, busted out of this mindset, maybe felt like somebody was trying to control them and they were angry. And then they realized, nobody's trying to control me. This is like a projection. Sword energy. I only thought they were trying to corner me or something like that. Okay. On 10 of Cups, 8 of Pentacles. This King of Cups might have to work hard to kind of rebuild trust, maybe. To manifest this kind of peaceful situation with family or friends or both, or even with a lover. But it's kind of like back to work. 8 of Swords, 8 of Cups is 16, which in Major Arcana is Tower. And for some reason I'm reminded yesterday, the day I missed it was Scorpio full moon. So there may be something, because I see Tower as being a card of Scorpio, a big change on the way somebody feels about something. And this guy did a big turnaround. I feel trapped. I'm angry about it. I feel misunderstood. I feel cornered. So I got mad. And now I'm sorry. And it might be that this person, this King of Cups, was overworked. 8 of Pentacles. Focused on their work. Just feeling like I punch it in, day out. I'm punching the clock. Something like that. In that same earth energy, this card of Capricorn, the World. I don't know what the rite of passage or next level thing was. But I think it was positive. It might be like closing out a cycle. Something deep in this person was paranoid, maybe? Sword energy, it was off in terms of how he thought about things. Lost his temper. Misunderstood. He blew something out of proportion. And there it is, Tower. Card of Scorpio. Emotional upheaval. Something may need repair. May need to be rebuilt because emotionally things fell apart. I mean, this is a big overreaction in the sense that I think this person blew their top. The change was so big. Whatever this was so big. It's some kind of big life change. This person may have gotten fired or, I don't know, had trouble in some other aspect of their life, like at work, and they took it out on their family. and, you know, upset the apple cart in a very big way. Card of Scorpio, and here in water energy as well, Cancer. Getting back on track. You know, this is sort of like the blow up, the mind-blowing whatever in the psyche. And this is now, okay, we're back in balance. Back in balance, I'm sorry. It's all good, Ten of Cups. Let's get back to work. Or it may have been that this person blew up at work, but I think it was with the people, with their inner circle, the people that King of Cups really loved and lost it with. Two of Pentacles. That's back in balance, you know. And it can also be sometimes called the dance of change. Like I'm shaking things up. Things are getting reprioritized. Big change. It could be that King of Cups had some really unresolved emotions about something. Some big change in their life. So they got, you know, they regained their balance, but for a while they were like this. They were teetering. Like they didn't know what to make of something they overheard, something like that it pissed them off. And I think you're in this group of loved ones. And King of Cups really does love you. He Ten of Cups is you, you know? And he's sorry that he blew it or lost his temper or, you know, had some kind of emotional. I had written down that this card as being a late bloomer. Two of Pentacles, late bloomer. Like they got to this stage in their life. They arrived at some kind of new phase. And perhaps this person was a late bloomer. You know, that before they were in page energy, they were very perhaps immature. And they feel embarrassed about it. Am I on the right? Okay. Yeah, they were confused. You know, there was something, it's confusion and it's like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I feel. Is what I feel even real? It can be a card of illusion. And I think they were surprised. Because look at this guy. He's like, what? He's sort of in a whoa energy. Looking at all these feelings, I think that this person was overwhelmed. This is a card of emotional overwhelm. You know, some shift that was like seismic and they just lost it. And I think they're apologizing. Page of Cups, I just didn't know what was going on. I was deluded in a way about how to feel about this, all these Cups cards. I lost my temper, I'm sorry. Maybe I was working too hard. Or there may have been trouble at work, so they took it out on their nearest and dearest. Is it this? Ace of Cups. I think this is, I mean, it can mean a lot of things. Self-love and an opportunity for love. I think it's sort of like, let's go back to the beginning. You know, to the fundamentals. Let's restore, you know, whatever happened here. I'm back in balance now, Chariot card. I've been successful at, getting my emotions back in control. Chariot is sort of a card of control. This person driving the chariot. Let's start again. Ace of Wands in a new direction. Page of Wands. Let's backtrack even, because I was wrong. I lost my temper. So let's start at the beginning. Let's rewind it somehow. Is it this? Yeah, Hangman. Card of Pisces, water energy. I see it from a new perspective now. I've taken a minute to figure out what I feel. I've had an epiphany about it. I realize, I was confused about, it may have been that this person was upset at themselves because they felt somehow ashamed of the fact that they lost it and shouted and, were accusatory somehow. And they precipitated this tower. They just exploded emotionally, and now they had time to get their act back together, to see it from the other person's perspective. What was it like when I blew up in your face? Tower, Knight of Swords. Because I misunderstood perhaps something you said, or, I took something the wrong way. I was going through changes. I almost get like a, like menopause, or what's it called? A guy, they buy the Corvette because they're a middle-age crisis kind of thing. I just turned 60 or 50 or something happened. This person's in a whole new stage of their life. So somehow that made them, destabilized them emotionally. So they went off. And this is to me like a more mature energy. I've taken the time to consider, see it from the other person's perspective, apologize. I think this person said it out loud. I'm sorry. I'm back in control. And it's all about feelings. I love you. I was confused. They love you. They were confused. And there's something about maturing. Like they were in page energy. They were immature. And they're humbled, Page of Cups. They've taken the time to mature. It's sort of like the chrysalis, the caterpillar and the chrysalis. When the caterpillar is in the cocoon, it turns to goo before it comes out a butterfly. There's such a metamorphosis here. And I think it may have overwhelmed this person because they went through some kind of major change, life change, seismic change. It really shook them up. And they're sorry. Because they love you, 10 of Cups. That's what I think is going on. And, when I do these readings, this isn't the definitive thing. It may not resonate with all of you. It may resonate for somebody you know, somebody in your inner circle, maybe even somebody you know at work. Eight of Pentacles is a card of work. But this person is apologetic. And I think they'll find a way to put it into words and say, let's start again. Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups. There's a lot of love here. It's a 10 of Cups situation. And it's Chariot and Tower, both water energies, Cancer and Scorpio. And it has something to do with the Scorpio full moon. You know, it's like people can go kind of nuts. That's the mythos around the full moon, you know, howling at the moon, a werewolf time kind of thing. This person may have, it was not a good transformation. It was startling and seismic. It really took you, I think, by surprise. Because ordinarily this person is loving and cares a lot about the people closest to them. I blew it. I'm sorry. I'm back in balance. And I'll see you next time.